Hi, Domenico Leo TV. Nice to meet you all. I'm the Calabria Sicilian chef. I'm also Greek. I'm Albanian. I'm all kinds of characters. I got gash in my pocket and gabagool. And I'm here on the Italian Sicilians Do It Better podcast. How you doing?
Italian Sicilians do it better. Oh, can't you see? From cooking to comedy, it's pure family. Turn it up. This groove's for you. Queens in the house, bringing something true.
What's going on, everyone? We're back with another one. There's a new guy in the neighborhood, and he's a Calabrese. Dom is in the building. What's going on, brother?
How you doing, Frank?
What's up, Dom?
Marco, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I gotta say, I think I was pretty much in the beginning time watching you. You know, I like to support everybody, and now I see you growing,
Yep.
and your stuff is like coming natural now. You're the Robert De Niro Calabrese version. That's what I call it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So where did all this come from? Like, what made you spark this internet sensation of yourself?
You know, I've actually been doing this since COVID. I came home from The Biggest Loser in 2020. I was on The Biggest Loser. I got an opportunity to, I don't know, somehow I got on the show. I applied.
Oh, no shit.
I got on, and I lost a whole bunch of weight, but I gained a lot of it back. But, you know.
That's what happens, bro. That's what happens.
So I come home from Biggest Loser. It's like, COVID happens, and I'm doing the Instagram thing. And then I start gaming, and I'm like, oh, this is, this could work, And unfortunately, I couldn't really make it work. I just kept changing like different, I started with gaming, then I tried doing recipes and food because I'm a chef. I was a chef for a long time.
You were trying to find your lane, I guess, on the...
Yeah, exactly. And I just never gave up, but I didn't have enough patience, I guess. I kind of just, but certain things also happen that I can't really talk about.
That's fine.
Social media is also tricky, and it could be discouraging, right?
Yeah.
Because I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
You kind of have passion on what you're doing, and it's almost like storytelling.
Yes.
Right? Because I see some of the stuff you do, it's storytelling, right?
Yeah.
Uchi Giuliano in the restaurant and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And does it hit? No. Sometimes.
Right.
Then it hits, and then that itself, it's like frustrating because, and I vent to him all the time. Sometimes we do the stupidest thing
Yeah.
that you put no effort into,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it skyrockets. Then you do something where it's like, holy fuck, this is funny. And it's Plymouth Rock. It's
That's what happened to me last year. It started on TikTok for me. I was like, I was doing all this like Robert De Niro voices and soprano stuff, and it just nothing was clicking, right? And then one day, I was doing food sales for the last 10 years. I worked for U.S. Foods, Cisco, Performance. I work for all these guys. I know the game in and out.
you sound like a good sales guy.
Yeah. And so I did a sales video, and it just took off on TikTok. But it didn't take off like crazy. It got like 15,000 views. But for me, that was like huge.
That was a lot.
I was like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I just kept going. But TikTok is tricky. I got certain feelings about TikTok.
I don't like it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I kind of stopped with that.
TikTok is like, I feel like I love Instagram. I found my home on Instagram, on Meta. I don't know. TikTok to me is like, hey, we know this content you make is pretty good and it could do really good, but I tell you what, if you pay us, we'll make it do even better.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I can't pay you.
It's a racketeering thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people.
No, but I think you nailed it because I feel like a lot of our friends, Salzo being one of them, and majority of them all started on TikTok.
They all did, yeah.
And they skyrocketed on TikTok, and now a lot of them just leveled off.
Yeah. Then they moved over to Instagram.
Now their Instagram are rocketing off because maybe they did something. Maybe it is they're pushing more like
pay us and then we'll help push
Yeah.
you, which is stupid because it should be done with shares and likes and comments, but it just it was kind of a disgusting thing, to be honest with you. It's like how they operate. It's totally different from when they started.
They also want you to go live constantly.
Yeah.
It's they it's a business. They make money on the
course.
TikTok live shop.
Of course.
But I think is this all right?
Yeah.
I think I just found success on Instagram,
Mhm.
and
Do you have a Facebook too?
yeah, I just started a Facebook.
You could connect them. It's nice.
Yeah, it was really easy. Instagram was like, hey, you want to make a Facebook? And then boom,
Yeah.
one shot. It made the page and everything.
Yeah.
I have to go and fix a couple things, but
Yeah.
So out of your skits,
Yeah.
what's I mean, I know some of them, but what inspires you to be these characters and to do some of the things you do?
my life. So Sicilian chef, for example, right?
Mhm.
Fucking love that.
I worked side by side with someone from Mondello who taught me a lot of things. He was a tough chef to work for. And it was very different from what I was used to, because when I came to work out on Long Island, I worked for a while in the city.
Mhm.
In these like nice fancy places. Like I worked at this place called River Park with the chef called Cisha Ortiz. I was there for like almost 2 years. We had an urban farm in the place. It was really cool.
Nice.
We made, we did things like I would smoke flour to make pasta with. We did cool stuff like that.
Oh, that's
His
cool.
name. But anyway, when I met Chef Siciliano,
Mhm.
it was like totally different, old school chef. Didn't come up from, he didn't go to culinary school. Was like a old
Pure
school
old
guy.
Self-taught.
Yeah.
Yeah, self-taught. And so that was it. I embraced it because I wanted to learn everything he could teach me. So
Sure.
I learned how to make cannoli shells. I learned how to make.
You went to school for it, or no?
The guy taught him.
It was this guy who inspired you to cook.
I did. I went to the Culinary Institute of America.
Oh,
in
you
Hyde
went to
Park.
CIA.
Yeah.
I tried getting in. And then when my parents saw how much it would cost for 18 months, they're like, you can go fuck yourself, bro.
I'm still in debt.
Yeah, it's heavy, man. It's
Yeah.
heavy. I think for 18 months they wanted like 40K.
Yeah, it
Some
was
shit like that?
it was about 80 grand for 2 years for
Yeah.
an associate's
Holy
degree.
Jesus!
And you had to write a letter. You had to tell them why you want to go there. All this,
Yeah.
it's like a whole process
Yeah.
to vet you.
Yeah, I have a little experience. Some people, if you had a lot of experience, they had an accelerated program.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You could do it in like a year, but I would tell people now, it's good to have the degree. The piece of paper is always good to have, but
Mhm.
if you really want to learn,
And you get experience on site. They have 7 restaurants on site,
yeah,
so they throw you while you're learning. Hey, go to work.
yeah. Our last 6 months was restaurants in
Mhm.
school.
Mhm.
We had
Interesting.
it was Caterina de Medici, it was American Bounty, Escoffier. I forget the other one.
Yeah, it's in Hyde Park, upstate, not New Hyde Park. it's in
Beautiful,
Hyde
man.
Park. Anybody can get in their car, drive up there, go to any of the restaurants that they have on site.
Yeah, they do a lot of tours all day.
Mm-hmm.
So
on the
it's a
weekends.
restaurant.
There's
I
multiple
gotta
restaurants.
Pay to eat. Like
No, you're
normal?
gonna pay to eat, but the thing is, you show up. There's 7 restaurants where the people who are learning to cook are there, and they're doing what they're learning, which is great because the food is good. It's all supervised or whatever.
So you did this education first, and then you met the Siciliano, the cook.
Well, then I worked in Manhattan. I worked at this place called Marconi with the former owner of there was this place called Scalinatella in the city.
Mhm.
It was called Scalinatella, and it was downstairs in a basement, and it's not really well known because it was well known amongst the VIPs. It was a
Sure.
place where VIPs
Exclusive.
Yeah, it was a place where people could go back in the 80s and 90s and just relax. So I worked for this guy, Marco, his name was. And then after that, I actually went to work in Umbria, in Italy.
Oh, really?
Oh, you
Yeah.
went even to stay over there.
I did 4 months because I almost died, and I had
Jesus Christ.
yeah, we had a car accident. It was a bad car accident. So I worked with a Hungarian guy. This guy was the dishwasher.
Mm.
This guy Zoli, awesome guy. And Zoli knew how to drive stick,
Mm-hmm.
and he had the European license. So I didn't have it, and I was like, all right, you know what? Every day pomeriggio we had break, so the owner would let us take sometimes the car to go. I was on a mountain. he would let us go down the mountain, go into town to get whatever we needed. So we needed cigarettes. And I remember leaving. And so we drive down the mountain. We get down the mountain. We get our cigarettes. We were in a Toyota pickup truck, but not a big one, like a smaller one. And over there, they called it something different. It wasn't, I don't think it was a Tacoma. It was something different. And so we're coming back up the mountain, and it's a dirt road. And Zoli's coming around a corner. And, you know, the mountain's like this. We're halfway up the mountain. You know,
If you stop, you go backwards.
if you go like this, you're done, right? So we're coming around this turn. It's a dirt road, and I guess he was going a little too fast, and the truck just started to fishtail, and then we flipped it. It flipped and it rolled, and we hit these trees.
Oh,
These trees saved our life.
from falling.
Falling down the mountain.
Jesus Christ, dude.
It was 2011 or 2012. If I had a camera, I wish I had like. I probably didn't even have my phone on me. You know, it was probably back in my room.
Yeah.
The guy was so mad. It was an agriturismo. It was called the Montali House. It's still around, the Montali House. But the guy Alberto, the owner, he was so angry because we crashed the car. It was.
God forbid he gave a shit about you guys.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't care about us. He actually made us walk back the rest of the way up the mountain.
Was he Sicilian?
No, he was Umbrian.
Oh, I always say he sound like a
Umbriano.
Siciliano.
He does sound Sicilian.
Sciupiace, no, camina.
He got me.
No, this guy was he was so angry. I mean, and you know, and he of course he blamed me because I was like a year or two older than the Hungarian kid. But I'm like, it wasn't even my idea to go down and get cigarettes. I'm like, I think it was Zoli kept bothering me. Like, come on, man, let's go. I'm like, nah, I think Alberto said no, we shouldn't take the truck. He's like, nah, let's go. I'm like, all right, whatever, let's go.
And it was cost your life.
Oh my gosh.
What pack of
So
cigarettes?
then I ended up leaving. We all ended up leaving. Me, Zoli, the two line cook girls that worked with us. Everyone ended up leaving after that. Everyone quit. It was weird. It was crazy. They were very stingy with the food. They didn't feed us like all the time. It was
Really?
yeah.
That's kind of weird.
And you went there
Yeah.
to cook, to work.
I went there to work. It
And they were
was
treating you
the
guys
only
like fucking third world country.
it was the only opportunity I could find in Italy because I wanted to go to Italy, and it was the only opportunity I could find with like a room and board. So
So
you know, the
is
chef was the wife of this guy's wife,
Mm.
and they had like a bed and breakfast, but they owned a lot of property, and they had fig trees and cherry trees and peach trees, and she made all kinds of conserves and all kinds of stuff like that. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool, man.
is cooking, I guess, your number one? Is that something you're still looking to pursue?
You know, people try to get me to do it.
Where's your passion in it? Meaning, like, if you had to choose something that you would,
Do forever.
yeah,
you know, I tell you, I love to cook, but I hate line cooking.
it's a lot of work.
I'm 41 years old now. you
Eat a
know
lot
what
of
I mean?
bullshit as a line cook.
But you know, people like when I look at guys like Steve Martorano, I'm like, this guy's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
68 years old, he's working the line.
Yeah.
And then I look at myself, I'm like, you should be disgusted with yourself.
Yeah, I know what you're saying,
This
man.
guy's 68 years old, he's a beast.
he's still pushing
working the
it.
line.
Yeah.
And and it's like I struggle con Usignudo too, because it's like, you know that like Usignudo dette una cosa di mano, un misterio, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, I know. And then the only reason why I ask you because a lot of people, they don't know the behind the scenes of the cooks, of the chefs.
Yeah,
They just know you flip the burger and it comes out.
exactly.
But firsthand, I've seen it. My family's owned some stuff,
Yep.
so I see the hustle.
Yep.
You're on your feet all day,
Mm-hmm.
13, 14 hours a day.
Yep.
You know, and you're constantly a machine who can't fuck up because you're feeding people.
Yeah. Crocs and Birkenstocks become your best friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And listen, I was in the service industry. I worked at a few restaurants, and let me tell you something. There's something about it that I love. The chaos,
Yeah.
the nonsense, the bullshit back and forth. I loved it. I
Yeah.
really did. At the end of the day, you're like, I'm not coming back tomorrow. And then there you are, 6 a.m.,
Yeah.
like an asshole.
Yeah.
And you're showing up because it's a love-hate.
Yeah.
It is a love-hate.
It is.
loved it, and I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
Because it's an emotional then you got to make sure everything's right. You're hearing bullshit from the crowd. You're hearing from the cook who's doing his thing.
I got a
It's-
funny
it's
question.
just
The
insane.
end killed me. I left Chef Siciliano.
Okay.
I had the opportunity. My ex-father-in-law at the time was like, yo, come on, I got this place. This guy, he's failing. He's not doing good. He wants to get out. We got it for nothing, 30 grand.
Okay.
We gave him 15,000 cash
Oh wow.
and then $1,000 every month for 15 months.
Right.
And then we just owned the equipment.
Okay.
You know, I left Chef Siciliano and I didn't want to. But it was, I figured in my head, I'm like, yeah, it's an opportunity. I could take this and make money with it.
Right.
And I did it for 2.5 years, 3 years. And I would take money out of the register every night to go shopping at Restaurant Depot with the next day. So if you work in the restaurant business and, you know, that's all I got to say for you to understand. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. No, trust me, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it, man.
It's like, all right. So,
I gotta tell you, I know all these things have meanings, and obviously I see the passion in your face about it.
yeah.
It's just you make them so fucking funny. Like even when you act like the Siciliano and how you
Yeah.
say the word fucking it, you know,
Yeah.
and you're kicking it back and forth between yourself. Yep, chef.
Yeah, you don't understand the things I went through with this guy. I mean, but we were like brothers, you know. Me and Chef Siciliano. We were like, because we had somebody above us. We had the executive chef, chef Napoletano. This guy was nuts. It was nuts.
You're not right in the head to even be in that position. You know what I mean? Like you got to be something wrong up here.
Yeah.
To be in that position.
I was the sous chef, and we had a big catering hall. It's a huge catering hall, but we also had a restaurant in the catering hall. I'm not going to name the one.
No, that's fine.
You know, it's around here. You know? It's not in Queens though, but you know, and Chef Napoletano had like, I don't know, 60 cooks underneath him on the catering side. And it was just me and Chef Siciliano on the we worked the a la carte, we worked the restaurant.
Yeah.
We had one guy, but we ended up losing him to another position just because sometimes we didn't need it, sometimes during the week we were slow, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we do 30, 40 covers, so we didn't need it. But I learned so much. So, I don't know, I guess in Mondello, they make I polpetti fanno differenti, fanno cusuco, they put raisins and pine nuts
Yeah, I
maybe in
can't
it.
stand
I
that.
like it. I love
I
it.
hate it. I personally hate
So
it.
it's funny you brought that up because every year my wife's cousins in New Jersey have a meatball contest, and she's been winning every year.
And like with that?
And they put that in it.
No, get the
I'm
fuck
telling you, they're unbelievable.
But
I
for
can't.
me, maybe because I haven't ate it, but for me, when I'm like,
It's.
But
I've
he
eaten
just
it.
said it, they're unbelievable.
No.
I like it. You know what it is? Because I'm a culinary thing. I'm all about that kind of stuff. So whatever. I understand. My best friend's like that. He's like,
Yeah.
nah, I can't. I don't do that.
Listen.
I can't do it.
Professional. Listen, it's not even just that. You know what it is?
And
I
he's,
don't.
you know, Balamadan.
But the thing is, I don't mix sweet fruit or anything sweet
Right,
with
with
savory.
savory.
I don't do that. Like I understand there's a lot of
It's dry fruit. It's not
I
fresh.
understand that, but either way, it's gonna gain some kind of moisture. It's gonna bring it back a little bit from
Right.
you know how it's cooking and the salt or whatever. It's just too it's a battle of flavor, and I don't do that.
So then that means that tu siciliano's it, but you don't like sugar in your sauce then.
Fuck no.
You like a nice...
Una patata. Lo faccio con la patata.
O garota. Ci può mettere
No, ci
pure
metto
la
con la
garota.
carota sempre.
Oh.
Always, every time when I do sauce, even if it's like una marinara, like a regular sauce.
But there is one sauce that gets sugar.
Which?
O pomodoro spedato, right?
Yeah, but I don't make that. I don't do
Does
that.
it get sugar? Enzo,
She's chef.
chef, does it get sugar?
I don't put sugar in it.
No. Okay.
So for me, I always done the potato acts as a sponge method,
Yeah.
and it works.
E dopo su mangi.
No, I don't eat it afterwards. My mother eats it afterwards.
What's your favorite pasta?
My favorite pasta itself or pasta
Dish,
dish?
like dish.
Gnocchi. Con pesto.
Nananelletti a forno? Really? I love so many
Trust
little
me,
pieces
I like
of pasta.
I
in my
like
mouth.
it too. Listen, don't get me wrong. I do like it. I do like agnellette al pasta forno con agnellette. I love it. But what hits it, and because I don't eat it often, now I don't eat it at all.
Yeah.
Good gnocchi with a pesto, not a genovese where it's like there's a cream in a pesto, like the thick one.
Yeah.
You know, you break it up with a little bit
Like
of the pasta
cement, he
water,
likes it.
like
Yeah.
cement.
You want to swallow cement. That's nice and thick.
It's a good coating. It's on the. I love
Never
it.
cook pesto.
Oh, dude, it's easy as hell. I make
Never
videos
cook it.
on it.
So cook it.
No. Cooking it. No. I just
Right?
I put it on
Right
after
on
when
the-
it's done. Right out.
Yeah.
Put it right in. You
That's
mix
the
it up,
best
and it's
way.
done. There's little effort to it. I mean, there's a little effort when you're making it. You got to know what you put, how much of pecorino romano you're putting in, how much pine nuts you're putting in. If you're putting pine nuts, if not, you're using walnuts. So if you're using walnuts, how much do you use to kind of make up for that earthiness? Dude, it's a pain in the ass. I wash my basil. I have to wait for it to dry because I don't want any water in it. I want the good oil. Bro, it's a fucking
You
process.
grow your own basil?
No, hell no. I live in an apartment. I can grow it on my bathroom sink. That's it.
I was gonna say, if you grow your own, you don't gotta wash it.
No, well, either way, I wash it anyway because the dirt, all this other stuff. So I wash it, I rinse it around, I make sure that it stays dried out.
Yeah.
And then that's when the process begins. Forget about it. Yeah, I'm there for 20 minutes trying to make sure everything tastes the way it should.
Yeah.
And it's annoying, man. You use a lot of oil when you're making it, man. You need
Yeah.
a lot. That's where you're getting your moisture from.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But you need good quality oil, I guess. I mean, but as
yeah.
long as you have good quality ingredients, you make a
The
delicious
oil
pesto.
when I make that, I make sure I use the oil I get from Italy.
Yeah.
I don't use all the oil that's all around here because it's after a while there's no difference.
I don't cook a lot at home because my mother's old. She complains a lot if
Same here.
I make a mess. So I try just to make simple things quick.
Yes.
You know,
An
if I'm
omelet.
watching my kids at my wife's, we're separated. But if I'm watching the kids over there, I cook.
Okay.
I go nuts. I'll do something, crazy stuff because nobody's around. My mother's not there to.
Exactly.
What's one favorite of yours you love to cook?
Man, when I have from Calabria, we have smoked ricotta fumagata.
Okay.
It's like a hot, like you guys have ricotta salata.
Yeah, primo salad. No, not primo
ricotta
salad.
salata.
Ricotta salata. Yeah.
Ricotta salata and un poco duro, right? You see how it's a little hard? We have the same thing, but we smoke it.
Mm.
And then we make cavatelli like really small, not. Sometimes people make them long.
Yeah.
In Calabria, we make them, where I come from, Crotone, we make them tiny.
Mm.
And so when you eat them with the spoon, you get like 20 on one spoon.
Yeah.
Bro,
Damn, I can imagine, man.
forget about it. You could eat a pound. I could eat a pound. You know what I mean? Because it just, si saltano in bocca. It's like they just jump in your mouth.
Yeah.
And so you make that. You got to make the fresh pasta. My grandfather has these things that he made, these little boards where he chiseled the wood to make the lines to make the go with that. And so I use those. And you make a sausage ragu. And then you make go with that just with semolina flour, water, olive oil, salt. Simple. You just get a good semolina flour, simple pasta. You make the pasta, you make the go with that, and then you actually let them dry. If you try to do it in the summertime, because you put them outside, you cover them, you keep them covered because of the bugs, but you let them dry for a few hours in the sun, and then they take about 18 minutes to cook.
Oh shit!
Yeah, 18 to 20 minutes to cook fresh.
That long?
Yeah, because it's thick.
Wow.
The go there, it's small and thick.
Jesus.
And then you make that with a sausage ragu. Now you can make it sweet or spicy, and then at the end when you hit it with the ricotta affumagata, the smoked ricotta,
That sounds good though.
it's it's delicious.
So when are we making this happen?
We could do it. I mean, yeah, whenever. I got a bag of semolina flour at my house. So
Facciamo buone.
Yeah, it's for emergency reserves in case.
the cheese I gotta get. I don't know if you could. Coluccio's a great place in Brooklyn to get Calabrese stuff. I think they're still Coluccio's is definitely still open. The holidays is great, like if you want to get something. But Calabrese stuff, if you're looking for Calabrese stuff, Coluccio's got great stuff. Tu amigo, the guy over there, Antico Palermo, he could all these people could get stuff.
Yeah.
You ask them, hey, your local guy, whoever that is, like, hey, you think you could find this cheese for me? They go find it for you.
Oh yeah, they'll get it.
You know.
But you mentioned that you said you won The Biggest Loser. Why don't
Yeah.
you talk? Can you talk about that? I
Yeah,
thought that
of
was
course.
kind of interesting.
How much
Contract's
weight did you
over now.
lose? And like, how did it go for you?
That was it was fun. One thing about me is I'm an honest person, so I'm not gonna lie about what happened. I sabotaged myself there a little bit, but I'll tell you about why. Maybe you guys could understand because I know Frank will because he has kids. So I had already lost about 50, 60 pounds before I got to the show. The heaviest I've ever weighed was about 400 pounds.
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah.
400 pounds.
Yeah, I think I'm at like 320 right now. Something like that. Um,
Wow.
so I'm doing kickboxing at the time, and it's 2019. It was 2019. No, it might have been 28. It was 2018.
Before COVID.
Yeah, way before COVID. It was like summer 2018, or yeah, it was summer 2018. And I come home and I'm doing something on Facebook, or I'm checking my Facebook or something. I come home from working out and I see a post about apply for Biggest Losers coming back. You know, they were doing a reboot. I'm like, oh wow, this is my shot. I had a chance actually in 2014, but my oldest daughter's mother, it was couples.
Oh, okay.
She didn't want to go with me.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted us, but she didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, oh, this is my shot. You know, it's meant to be. This is it. So I get on, and after months of interviews and sending videos and photos and video after
pain in the
video
ass,
after
right?
video, it was like insane. I'm like, what do you guys want? My life? You know,
Basically.
you know, they do. So they flew me out to New Mexico. My flight to Albuquerque.
Mm-hmm.
It was like August 2019.
Breaking Bad territory.
There you go.
Yeah, because they didn't do California anymore because New Mexico is giving big tax breaks back to these companies,
To the
these
production
production
companies,
companies. So that's why they go out to New Mexico now. So just talk a lot to the guys in the vans. Just take us everywhere in vans.
Mm-hmm.
So
they camped you on site 24/7 for throughout the show?
did they film us 24/7?
Like, obviously, if you're in the show and you have to lose the weight because you're in competition,
Right.
they put you all in one camp, so you can't leave or you can't do anything. Or
We were in charge of our own meals, and that's kind of what's messed me up a little bit. We all lived in one big house. They had a fake house separate that we used to shoot in that made it look like it was our house because it was nice, but we didn't live there. You know, we lived in something
Much
much
shittier.
not nicer. Yeah, a lot shittier. So
that's fucking hilarious.
I fly out to Albuquerque. I fly out to Albuquerque, and I'm there for the first 2 weeks. I'm in a hotel room with no phone. Well, actually, no, I did have my phone, but I wasn't allowed to leave the room. I was allowed to order whatever I wanted, room service. So, so I'm like, all right, I got there's 2 weeks coming before we start filming here.
Mm-hmm.
They flew 24 of us out there. They only picked 12 of us. Me in my head, I'm like, I know I'm getting on this thing because I would look at people when I would come down from the lobby, and they didn't tell you who was going to be on the show, but you knew because like I'd see a fat person, I'd be like, all right, I know that guy's going to be on the show.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I was spotting I was looking for all the fat people. I'm like, where are all the fat? So I didn't see anybody Italian, so I'm like, all right, I got this in the bag. This is me.
We need one of us.
You need one of us.
You were in the pure Italian mode.
Yeah, I was like,
Affirmative, what is it called? Affirmative action over
so
there?
I was eating like an animal. I was like,
for
for 2 weeks, I ordered room service like 5 times a day. I was trying to gain as much weight as I could before going on the show.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, whatever. It's just, I know that, because I was looking at some of these people and, like I said, I lost 50 pounds before going on the show. I went on the show weighing in at 314, 320, the weight I'm at now. It's not huge. They used to have really obese people go on the show.
Yeah.
500 pounds, 550 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Mangia Spisa, man.
400 pounds. Oh, actually, we did have a couple. We had, Jim was pretty big, and Rob was like 400 pounds, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
375 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, so yeah, those first 2 weeks, man, in those first 2 weeks, I was at doctors. We went to pools. We did all kinds of tests. They test my heart. They did every
All
kind
for
of
the show.
test. Yeah, because they wanted to make sure they're like, you need to have a really strong
You didn't
heart.
die.
You weren't going to get a fucking heart attack.
You need to have a heart that's like built like an animal to be able to do this show.
Mm-hmm.
Because we would work out like 9, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we had 3 different workouts, 3 hours each session. About 8, 9 hours of working out.
Okay.
Can you tell us
But
what season, and I would like to see this.
It was the last one, I guess, season 19 or season 20.
Mm.
They were gonna do another one. They were gonna reboot again, but then I don't know. It just never.
I gotta check this out.
They don't have a good. It's not. It's not. You listen. You could lose weight that way. It's just not normal to work out 9 hours
That
a day.
long. Because they said that, I remember reading something that the Biggest Loser was basically that you were designed to fail.
Yeah,
That's basically what that
Sure.
was.
I could work out nine hours a
The
day.
fuck you doing for
yeah,
that? You-
but now look at me. I haven't worked out in 5 years because I don't want to.
Because you put it all in 1 year in that
Yeah,
one
exactly.
show. You did your lifetime of working out right there.
Exactly.
Animals.
I got well, and that's another thing so we were in charge of our own meals. Sorry.
No, you're good.
And the producers once you got selected, like you knew you were going on the show, that's it. They took your phone away. No more phones. No more technology. No
For
more
the entire
nothing.
time.
Yeah. So now I'm like, oh,
So you were like stuck in an island.
pretty much.
No
All I
contact.
wanted to do was talk to my kid, you know? And I also wanted to see, so now at the time, I got my oldest daughter, Alessia, and now I have
That's my
my
daughter's name.
newest daughter, Valentina, who was just born, but nobody really knew about her yet because I had her with a different
Mm-hmm.
woman, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
like my life is all like
So you had a lot going on all
I
that
had
same
a lot
time.
going on, and it was interesting. It was a lot. It was very. I sabotaged myself there, man.
Did you win?
No.
How far in did you get to the show?
I got to the 4th episode, and then that's it. I lost the weigh-in by like 1/10 of a pound because the night before I ended up eating like
You should have done like the fighters, take your underwears off and stand on the scale.
I ended up eating like, yeah, I know. I ended up eating like, we had all these like protein bars and mozzarella sticks,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
You
like
ate one
Polly-O
mozzarella
string
sticks too
cheese.
much.
I had like eight string cheeses
That's
and
your
like
10th of a
4
pound.
breakfast bars, and that
Jesus
was enough
Christ.
to put me over the edge.
Well, yeah, because those things have high calories.
I was such an idiot, man. I was such an idiot because I thought about it after. I'm like, so many people applied for this. So many people, you know, and I think the contestants got in my head. They didn't like me very much.
Really?
Kinda like social media. Yeah. Some people on social media don't like me.
They don't like us either. That
Well,
doesn't mean
we're
nothing.
gonna get into that. I want to talk
That doesn't
about
mean
that a bit.
nothing. Trust me.
But with this weight loss thing, only because again, I never really watched it. What are you fighting for? Losing weight, and what's the prize?
So it used to be $250,000, but
Oh,
because
shit.
it was rebooted and going on TBS, Fishinogumo,
$10.
you know, Timu version, Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
It
Here's
was
your coupon.
It was $100,000 grand prize, and I could have won the at home, but I lost by like 20 pounds or something. Megan won. She's nice. Megan, I like Megan. Megan, Micah, Rob, good people. Everybody was good peoples, but it's just I think they didn't like my strong
How were the
attitude.
trainers? Did you meet Jillian?
No, I had Erica. We had Erica Fitlove. Her name was Erica, and they had new trainers. But we had what's his name? That was
Guy?
the guy, Bob.
Yeah.
He was the host.
Were they tough or were they to work with you to help you?
Our trainers, nah. Erica was nice. She was my trainer. Erica was good people. She, you know, I heard they did messed up stuff before. Like
Yeah.
I heard Jillian Roberts did like.
Because I watched the documentary.
Yeah, she made
So
people
I'm
take
confused.
pills and all those things they used to take
energy.
everybody.
Yeah.
She used to make people take that stuff, do crazy things.
Basically, legal meth.
No,
To do this
yeah,
stuff,
my trainer didn't. My trainer didn't do anything
Good.
like that. I don't think she would have the heart to do that.
Right.
This person is such. She's such a good person.
Nice.
She
was trying.
she went through cancer and all that.
Ah, shit.
And you know what? You know what I love about Erica is she was once 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
She was once somebody just like me.
Yeah,
She's a beast.
I can imagine.
Unbelievable. She got married a few years ago. She's doing. I think she's doing good. I think she's still doing her thing on social media.
Well,
I
listen,
haven't looked.
I give you kudos for that. I mean,
Yeah, man.
it doesn't sound easy to hustle 9-10 hours a day.
You know, in the end, the whole thing, I lost 60 pounds on The Biggest Loser and about 70 pounds before that. I went from 400 pounds to 255 pounds.
Felt good though, right?
Felt amazing. Now I feel like garbage.
Nah, don't worry. Man. You could always lose it, bro.
But I think it was the COVID shot, man. I took one shot one. I didn't take the second one. I went back for the second one for work.
Yeah.
It was so busy. The lady, she signed the paper. Quick.
Oh, you lucky.
I took the picture. I sent it to my boss.
And you walked out.
And then I left, right?
Mm-hmm.
She calls me. They call me, the pharmacy. Hey, you got to come back or we're going to call the police. I was like, what? I was like, fine, all right, don't worry about it. I'll be right there. I went right back anyway because I didn't care. I didn't need it anyway. I sent it to them. But still, that one shot, I don't know.
I think I'm the one
I
person.
feel different, man.
Dude, I'm going to tell you what it is. I think I'm the
Last
one
6 years.
person who got it. No side effects. I felt nothing from it. I had to go back because at that point I had type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
So they said, you have to go back again. My job being what it is, they're like, you got to go. I got the second one. Nothing. Bro, I feel like they just injected me with water.
Yeah.
I got no difference. I know people who say they, like you said, got the shot. I started feeling different.
Sparkling water, they.
I had no, bro, when I say zero, I mean zero, nothing.
Yeah.
No,
No, but
no cold, no nothing.
I agree with you. I mean, I know there's a lot of shit out there people say about it, but I haven't felt the same since my shot. I just feel different.
Right.
Don't know what it is.
Right?
100%.
Me, it was nothing. It's weird, man.
And I know, like, about 4 or 5 months ago, I had some blood work done. They said I got diabetes, but then I ended up losing my insurance because I lost my job. And then recently I got a letter saying that from New York City, saying that I had health insurance. New York City, I was on the New York City PPO plan. I'm like, how's this possible? I don't have a city job.
Right.
And I've been calling the city for the last month, and I can't get in touch with anybody.
Of course you can't.
But
You work for the city.
so you technically have insurance.
Yeah, but
They
I
send
don't
you
work
your
for
card?
the city. Yeah, I got it.
No, listen, I got
Yeah,
it.
it's in my
Listen.
bag. I don't
Hey,
know. Health
you're
first.
You're covered, right?
I think so.
That's it.
But I'm afraid to use it because I'm afraid they're
They're
be
gonna
like, hey,
flag it?
Yeah, you're a scammer or something. You're scamming the insurance system or something. I'm like, but you guys sent me this stuff.
Right.
You know?
That's hilarious. So here's some fun stuff I want to get into.
Yeah.
The social media.
Yep.
I know things could be positive, things could be negative, things could be dramatic. 2-part question for you.
Sure.
The first thing is, you look like you've gotten comfortable on camera, by the way. I from when I seen you to now, it's like natural to you, and it's fucking hilarious. I can tell you that all the time.
Thank you.
And I know a lot of the skits you do are related to your life.
Sure.
But at what point did you know you were on to something? Because it sparked for you. You're up to 14,000 now, suddenly?
15,
15.
I think, this morning. I stopped really paying attention. I'm kind of just waiting for like, all right, it's gonna stop eventually. I know it's gonna stop. I keep telling myself that every day.
Yeah.
All right, when's it gonna stop now?
It's low expectations. You're doing low expectations.
I got low expectations. I've always had. I think it's finding success with just bringing out my Calabrese side and finding my people in Calabria that I've gained like 4,000 followers from Calabria, 5,000 followers from there.
So you're saying a lot of your followers are from Italy?
Yeah. A lot of the videos I've been doing lately, the Calabrese ones, I don't know if they're from Italy, but a lot of them are like, when you read the comments, all these people are writing in Italian. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of actually confused because if I do a mozzarella gabagool, whatever video, sometimes it does good. I just did one the other day. I'm Italian. And people get offended about those videos.
Oh, yeah.
They get crazy.
We're one of them.
They're like, this is so bad. This is terrible. You're misrepresenting Italians. I'm like, what do you mean? I grew up with people like this. What are you talking about?
Right. Right. But that's what people here want to see. We talk about it all the time. People want to see
that live outside New York, the metro area or whatever. I think Italian people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're jealous. I just think they hate on New York Italians a lot. I think New York Italians are very special people, honestly.
Yes, we are. And I don't mean that in a good way. We're fucking special, all right.
Very unique as far as the Italian cultures that are out there. Because, growing up as a kid, you didn't. I know we're getting off topic. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, do it.
But growing up as a kid, you didn't. I didn't know about Australian Italians.
Canadian.
I didn't know about
Italians.
Canadian Italians.
Yeah.
I knew there was Italians in Germany and Australia, and I knew there was Italians there, but I didn't know them until I saw Joe Avati on YouTube, or whatever. And so I understand. I wish we wouldn't get so much hate because New York Italians, even though some of them mozzarella that's them. That's
But it
what
makes
they
you
are.
laugh, and it makes you laugh even saying it because you know it's ridiculous.
It is. It is
It's
ridiculous.
fucking ridiculous.
It is.
And that's the funny part about it because
But you got to think about it, right?
Yeah,
If you're a third or fourth generation Italian, these people, they're proud to be Italian.
and I'm happy for them.
So to them, they're American,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But in their blood, they're always. And I look because I think about those videos I make of being in Italy, and like I think about how people are, hey, compa, che sta facendo? You know, vieni qua. And then if you translate that into English, oh, what are you doing over there? Come
Yeah,
here,
it's the
come
same
here.
thing.
It's
Yeah,
the same thing.
it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It is, but here's the thing.
I think
It's
the
just
the
you know,
acting
mozzarella
of-
gabagool.
You-
That's all.
that's what I'm saying. It's like
the
it's,
fucking Sopranos ruined it for
It
us.
really
That's what
did,
it was.
bro. It really
Very
did.
authentic.
For Jersey, yeah.
They did a great job. I mean, portraying different kinds of Italians. I mean, they put Furio in there as like a first, as an off the boat immigrant. They did a great job with him. Tony, I think James, they could have did it. They could have brought more Italian out of him. I wish they would have brought more Italian out of James because he if you know his parents were born in Italy. I think.
Yeah.
You know, James, I think spoke some Italian.
He did. I think I heard that he like grew up out there a little bit, or he was out there for a while. He already knew what to put on film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He already went there and shot out like a rocket.
But I'm sorry, I got ADD. So the first part of the question was, what was the first question?
You could add? Is that you could add?
I got an ADHD maybe.
He's got ADHDs.
HD TV?
I could add HD if you want. It's gonna cost you though.
The first part of the question was social media and the negativity flashback you're getting. So it's kind of related to how we were going with it.
It's crazy because I get messages from people like, "Hey, were you Domenico skits?" I'm like, "Yeah, that was me a couple of accounts ago." You know. So I had one guy from Texas. He said something stupid on one of Big Joe's videos. It pissed me off because I'm a fat guy too. You know, it made me angry. You know what I mean? Like it just pissed me off because the guy's like, because he's Italian from Texas. He's got some beef tallow business.
Okay.
He's got 50,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm like, why you come? Listen, whatever. You don't like the guy's video, fine, but you gotta say that stuff.
Yes, that's a necessity for them.
You got 50,000 followers and your own business selling beef tallow. You gotta do that. Come on. At least it's like these haters are out in full force. They're not even hiding anymore.
What is that? What's protecting them? Go ahead. What's protecting them?
Nothing.
Nothing.
The phone.
Yeah,
'Cause
well,
they're-
yeah. I
that's what I'm
guess.
saying. They're not in your face saying it. They're on a screen. So there's the difference.
You
But
know,
it's like I say too, most of them
Yeah.
are the ghost profiles, I call them, with that dumb picture, no posts.
And they love God in the first
and,
sentence.
and they only
Yeah.
love God.
Yeah.
How do you like that shit?
Yo, the kid had that in his profile.
There you go.
And then I was like, yo, you talking about Jesus and this and that, and you over here bashing this kid about his weight. What about you? What about your sins in the closet? You know what I mean?
We're not talking about that though.
You know,
We're not talking about that. His sins are his. Our sins are out in the
you
open.
bashing somebody because he's fat, but what about you? You know, you're online looking at websites you shouldn't be looking at, or you're cheating on your girlfriend everywhere, left and right. You're cheating on your wife, left and right, all over the place. But here you are online bashing somebody because somebody's
But he
overweight.
loves God.
Yeah, but he loves God.
Remember that.
But now, do you take these personal still, and now you laugh about it?
So just the other day, this one pissed me off. Just the other day, and my video's gone. I don't know what happened to it because I took somebody's comment. This guy's an actor, a low-level actor. He played Yogi Berra in the movie 61. Where that movie 61 about Mickey Mantle.
I think I know what you're talking about.
The HBO. It was like an HBO movie, or whatever.
I don't think it was 61.
No, there was a Jackie Robinson movie, 42.
42.
That was a Jackie
one?
Robinson movie.
Right. What was the movie 61 about? I think that's the movie he was in, 61.
Yeah,
he
I gotta-
played Yogi Berra in some
Boo.
movie.
I don't
Possibly.
remember. Boo.
He was on Gravesend for 3 episodes in 2020. He does Paisan Khan. His name is
Oh, Jesus.
Paul Borghese. This guy, Paul Borghese. So I did the video the other day. I'm Italian. I was doing the one where I changed all the C's to G's, and I was talking about gauge. You know, I got to pay gauge. And he wrote something that it kind of just ticked me off. It was like, because I looked at his profile, he was like, yeah, really embarrassing for a few likes and views and clicks and laughs. And I go over to his profile and I see him like all dressed up in these Tony Soprano shirts, the ones where you got the button down, it's like two big stripes of, and then everything else is black. You know what I mean? I'm like,
You look like a vampire.
and he's, you know, and he's got videos with guys like Number One Guido, and he's got pictures with Big Joe, and I don't know if he's got any videos with Big Joe, but he was on the Skinny Joe Merlino podcast, and he's got a beef jerky company. I'm like, bro, I'm just a new guy on the block. You know what I mean? You coming over here hating on me instead of making friends with me and sending me a bag of jerky or saying, hey, Dom, buy a bag of jerky, and would you do me a favor and give me a review? Yeah, no problem, Paul. I would love to. No, you're an embarrassment to the Italian culture. Meanwhile, this guy doesn't even speak Italian or whatever. That's besides the point. It's the point of we only hate each other.
Because we're good at it.
You know,
because we know where our low points are.
Italians, we're really good at just hating each other.
Oh, yeah.
And
criticizing.
And, you know, making sure that, you know.
Bro, because let me tell you something. When you got enough practice in something, you want to exercise that talent, which is we shit on each other all the time because it's the easiest thing on the world to do. Because there's no, you know, support, there's no whatever, and all we talk about is why don't we support each other? You see that fucking jerk
Because
off?
I've learned to ignore that shit.
Yes.
He gets off on them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I start going nuts. The people on Instagram on Meta, because I go to this special Meta class every week. I can't really talk about it.
No, that's all right.
But they're like, hey, Dom, you got to calm down. You know, I'm like, I can't. All right. And it's funny because it doesn't affect your views. If I write somebody back like, hey,
Go fuck yourself,
douchebag or whatever, it doesn't affect my reach or my views. Mm-hmm. But like when I check my account status, where it says comments, whatever, it'll be like orange. You know what I mean? Okay. Like warning. But I don't think they're gonna. I think they like me Instagram. I think they really like me. I don't know.
That's funny. They're not gonna
like
penalize you, but it says orange.
They like me more than TikTok. That's for sure. But you know, back to what you were saying, like. And it's you know, hating each other, and then it's like, come on, man, why? You this guy's got like 8,000 followers. Like, what are you doing? Whatever. I guess whatever. I don't know.
You gotta let some of them go, bro.
Yeah, look, you can't take it personal. No. We go through that shit all day. We're not Italian,
right?
We only speak and
We're
write
Japanese.
it. Yeah,
We're
we only
Japanese.
speak and write it. Yeah,
but I don't even consider myself Italian. I consider myself American.
That's good. And I'm glad you do too. And you could say it, and you have no problem.
But my heart is in Calabria, sure, 100%.
I understand. I got you. I understand you.
Like, yeah, all right, great. You guys like I don't relate to that American culture of like I got my bike with the pegs in the 90s and the mall and the McDonald's and this. Sure, I relate to it, yes. But like I also relate to I spent the first 25 years of my life every summer in Calabria. You know, I was very fortunate. My father broke his ass for us. We were really fortunate as kids. You know what I mean? Like I really thank God.
Well, that's a great point you're saying, because a lot of people portray us as you're an embarrassment to what you're doing.
Nah.
But really,
they have no clue.
First of all, it's about comedy, right? It's about making people laugh. And then there's always that piece of it of, this is how I grew up. You know what I'm saying? I was raised by my grandparents.
100%.
You know, who didn't speak a lick of English.
100%.
You know, a lot of your skits are real life, you know, events that occurred.
Yeah.
So for someone to come around and tweak it, it's
tell you how you're wrong.
It's pure
crazy.
jealousy, because those people
they don't experience
are fucking miserable.
They don't experience that. They don't have that cultural experience.
Because uno babbe americano.
My father, when he came to this country, he came here with $179 in his pocket.
I feel like they all came with the same amount of money, by the way.
I think it was.
It was like, hey,
That's
you
what he
should go
tells me. I came with $179. But I
of
really believe him, because he had nothing, and they lived in a basement on Meacham Avenue. You know, when he first came here, but he went to English school at night, Sewanaka, for free. He went to English school.
He tried to learn English.
Yeah, for 4 years.
Nice.
And he learned. And then he lost a little bit of it. So like, but my father, when he speaks English,
He still has
It's more like I am. Yes, I.
Come lo vede nella
the
televisione.
like my waiter, you know.
Yeah.
And then my uncle is like that guy. I love that guy, Uncle Louie variety show.
Oh, I love him.
He's
Bro, we had them here.
that's my uncle, you know.
Bro, we had them here. Fucking pissers, bro. I love them.
After we,
Yeah.
After we were, you know, but that guy, you guys, I gotta see that. I love that guy. He's funny. But that's my uncle.
Yeah.
Everything is English. My uncle doesn't speak English or Italian. We call it English.
English.
With an H,
With
yeah.
an H.
English.
Yeah.
Speak of the English.
I have an uncle like that too. He knows.
I got the pension. I got everything.
Yeah, I love it.
He gets the pension, everything. And
That's the first question they ask you. Che lavoro fa? Pensione.
Pensione, yeah.
you get to go to job. You find the pension. Everything. You got everything.
So where do you see yourself taking this? Like, what's your hopes? What do you want to come out of it?
A lot of people have been reaching out to me saying, "Hey, have you ever thought about trying stand-up comedy?" I get a lot of comments like, "Oh, you'd be funny. You'd be funny as a comedian." And it's funny because you remember those books when you graduated like 6th grade and everyone wrote something and you would fold a piece of paper
the yearbook.
over.
Yeah, it's in it.
Yeah.
I found it and I'm looking through it right from 6th grade and I'm like, I'm reading all these ones and it's like, "Hey, good luck with your comedy. Hope to see you on TV one day."
You always had it.
I
in
never
your book.
tried it.
Yeah.
I love, like, for me growing up, I love things like Eddie Murphy, the skit he did with Italians. I
Yeah.
watched that. I would
On
watch
Raw.
that on HBO all the time.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor,
Mm-hmm.
Carlos Mencia, Robin Williams, all these comedians. I love them. You know, I grew up idolizing these people, these movies, all these movies.
Would you be cold feet to give it a shot?
Yeah, I sometimes I think about it. I should just go to an open mic and just get on the stage with nothing and just go and see what happens.
Because who do we have here that I think that's
Go
how
with
it
the
is.
C's to G's. I just go with C's to G's. Like, hey, I go up with C's to G's people.
People want C's to G's and you go to Dash.
Some of them are in your own family. You know, like I got some of these people in my family
Yeah.
That's
on
how
my mother's side. You know what I
that's
mean?
how I think Anthony Rodia told us when he was here. They were all bullshitting, and they all just ran to an open mic, and he just jumped on and just sparked a lighter for him.
For Anthony, that's how he started.
I'm pretty sure that was him who told us that here. Do it. What do you got to lose? Go into a room
Nothing.
that nobody knows you.
Yeah,
Wait
exactly.
till that light flashes to get the fuck out.
You know, I think people try to discourage you too. You got to be careful who you talk to
Don't
on
get me
social
started with that,
media
yeah.
because so far, like a lot of people try to discourage you right away. Oh, there's no money in it. There's no this. There's no that in it. You're not going to make any money. Or it's a lot of work. It's going to take you a long, long time. I get that. I'm sure. But I feel like if you're meant to do it and if you just have that in you naturally, you'll flourish and whatever is meant to be will happen.
Right.
You know, anything comes with hard work. I think, look at Little Mo. When he first started, I feel like Little Mo struggled a little bit when he first started getting up on the stage and doing his thing. Now the guy's coming into his own. I watch a lot of his videos and I see sometimes he makes me laugh, man. I love it. I really enjoy watching Little Mo coming into his own. I see him getting better and better, and I love the fact that the guy doesn't give up. He gets a lot of hate. You read his comments, he gets a lot of hate.
Mm-hmm. But that's a part of the territory.
Mo, I got to give him credit because I think he also is the reason a lot of this dance floor is open today. That everybody's, I don't want to say jumping on the bandwagon, but he's opened this special dance floor.
Yeah.
Where people are speaking freely, being themselves, and he's one of, I don't even know the right word. He's him. He's not acting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say? Like, he's him. This
Yeah.
is what you get at home, and this is what you get on stage. Like, he doesn't have to be a De Niro and get into tune. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's broken that cherry for a lot of people, and I give him a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, I try not to do any of that how you doing stuff because that's his thing. You know, how you doing, Semolina? I hit you over the head with a Semolina. Your sister.
What are your thoughts on
I
how?
always try to do my own thing. So, like, I got gash. That's my thing.
What are your thoughts on how a lot of people steal material?
A guy did it to me not too long ago. I was actually flattered by it. I'm like, this is actually kind of cool. I'm like, I've never, I didn't think I would get to the point where somebody would steal my entire video, almost word for word. It was The Angry Italian, it's called. Some guy in Boston, I was like word for word. I was surprised. I'm like, how did you memorize this so quick?
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, at least you could have tagged me or something.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I did. He sent me a message. Oh, I did. I'm like, no, you didn't, because if you would have tagged me, I would have got a notification.
Right.
I didn't get no notification.
Right.
He was hoping you didn't see it. Then
Exactly. It was so weird. It was like Instagram wanted me to see it. They're like, hey, Dom, take a look at this video.
Yeah.
It was nuts. It just showed up on my feed.
But you know what? I think it's got to get
Some
to
guy from Boston.
I think you got to take it up to the point where
But I was flattered.
That's what I'm saying. They're saying mimicry is the best form of flattery. So
Yeah.
honestly, at that point, when people get upset of it, don't be upset.
no, a lot of people take that shit personally.
They take it personal.
Yeah.
Why? Let them do their thing. Obviously, we all know you did it. You know you did it. They know you did it.
Right.
Okay, now they're doing it themselves. Have at it, bro.
Right.
Good luck.
I try, when they say a lot, hop on the trends. I don't really, I want to be a trendsetter.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to hop on trends. What's a video we've been seeing a lot? Okay. How many times am I going to see somebody do Judge Judy, the same audio over and over again, or use the Joe Biden?
Jump on that one thing that's already, okay.
Yeah, how many times am I going to watch somebody do the Joe Biden video, talk about, where it's kind of funny. There's a lot of them out there. They all do this, somebody will do something different, how's my mental whatever.
Mental health. Yeah.
It's really good. It's really
There's
good.
one guy I know
and
who
then
does it
somebody's
with
doing
you saw the lotion guy?
Yeah, the
where he had the
lotion.
lotion, it was going through the other side, and every time he said how on point he is, he's doing something stupid, bro.
Somebody copied Salzo's. Somebody copied something of Salzo's months ago, and I sent it to him. I'm like, yo, look at this guy.
It happens.
And the guy got it went super viral.
But at that point,
Salzo's video did good too.
Yeah.
But this guy's was like, and I was like,
that's
what
a part of the game, bro.
I
That's
guess.
what it is. Everyone's got to let that shit go. It's a part of the game. You put your shit out there, people watch it, they want to reenact it. Fucking
Yeah.
let them. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time,
What?
give a little credit.
But even if give
Like,
a little
hey,
credit.
inspired by, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no.
There's a silly Jesus joke out there. It was done by a comedian. Some guy, I don't know how many months ago. The guy took the entire joke off the guy's page on YouTube, came on social media, and spit the joke out, and super mega viral. But I think if you're gonna do something like that,
Be original.
be original and shout the guy out.
I guess. I mean,
I don't know.
it's a snake pit for me, bro. I look at it.
I really try not to copy anybody's content. I don't think I do. I had somebody comment recently saying that Salzo does this kind of stuff. So it was one of the Gina videos I did.
Yeah, who the fuck is Gina, by the way?
I don't know. She's just a character I use, But I grew up going to DNA and on the weekends there for years, every weekend, back to back, Friday and Saturday nights.
He's looking at me because
I'm waiting for
he
it.
knows. I think he knows.
Oh,
I know.
I was waiting for the whole fucking thing to come out again.
2003, I think I started going there when I was 18.
Fucking place to be at the time.
Was that your time?
03.
Yeah,
At the same age.
that's right. I'm just asking.
Uh,
You fucking party central over there.
I think it was this kid Tommy used to work the door for. That's who the guy we knew.
Tom. Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah.
And but that was the life back then. So whatever. I don't try to do too many more club videos. Now the club videos I do are the ones in Calabria. I like doing those. Those are
Those are great. Yeah.
fun. Because I'm not copying anybody. Nobody really does those. And that's, my life experience over there, whatever. Also, if I do a club video here, it's my cousins that have come here over the years. I got a big, huge family. My dad's one of 11.
Have you ever
Jesus
seen one with the clubs when he's wearing the pocketbook Borsa?
No, I didn't see that
I
one.
got the man purse on.
Oh, really?
And he's going back and forth, and the purse is hanging inside.
I gotta see it. I'm gonna go check it out.
I got to get tighter jeans. Somebody said.
Yeah, bro. You need to get a tighter jean and you need to get a shorter shirt.
I had one guy hating on me. I looked at his page. This guy his shit was so tight. was like, damn, bro. I'm like, why you hating on me, bro? You're Italian. Some guy from Udine. He owns a steel company in Manhattan. I don't know what he does. This guy,
Look like he saran wrapped his jeans on.
you know. But now he's coming around, like, you know, showing some love. He commented on a video this morning, you know, showing a little love. I'm like, there you go, Berto. Like, coming around. Huh? His name's Alberto or something like that. I'm like, there you go, Berto. You coming around, huh? I'm like, you're not so bad. You're not such a bad guy.
That's funny because that's happened too. Like someone comes over hard and then suddenly they become a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the ones that critique your shit and then they follow you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you critiquing me? And now you followed me.
No, you blocked that guy. No, you don't get to follow me. No, you want to follow me, you be nice. No, I'm just joking.
But
I get a lot of spam follows lately. I got to monitor my stuff
Yeah.
of who follows me on
Yeah.
Instagram. There's a lot of, you know, you get like these weird model looking pages that have no followers and no.
Oh yeah, no, those are all common.
It's like, what is this spam garbage?
yeah, I don't know. It's quirky. Nobody's ever gonna understand that shit. Sometimes
so-
you get randomly 8 unfollows, 20 unfollows, and you look at them like, what the
They were
fuck?
all bots. Anyway.
So that's really it with just the guy Paul and the guy last year with but that wasn't even that Instagram's old, and then it wasn't even my video. I was like, whatever. Big Joe was smart. He don't say nothing to nobody.
Nah,
He
he's
doesn't
mad
respond.
cool.
He doesn't respond. No, he doesn't respond to that stuff. He doesn't respond to stupidity.
No, Joe's mad cool.
You know what I do now?
Mm.
But I love it. If
What?
someone comes in, well, hold on. If someone comes and hates on me, bro, I pin the comment because I'm building. I got like my own mafia behind me. I got like all these Calabrese people that love me because they really relate to these videos that I make, and some of the videos I've pinned comments and I have to unpin them because these people start getting demolished.
Really?
Yeah, people start going after them. I'm like, all right, that's it. I gotta unpin this guy's comment. One guy, a Sicilian guy came in and he said something. And I was like, yo, bro, watch out, bro. If I pin this comment, they're gonna come after you. You know, he was saying something about us Calabrese guys. So I pinned the comment, and then boom,
The dogs came out.
the dogs started coming out, and then boom, I unpinned it. I'm like, see, I told you, bro.
But what did we learn?
So I like doing that lately. That's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, Dom, thank you for coming.
thank you.
It's always a pleasure. But there's something I like to ask everyone who sits in this chair.
Yep.
And it's like, you've been through an experience in life. You know, you talked about your cooking chef years.
Yep.
You have beautiful kids.
Sure.
From there, you took your family's experience or your life's experience and you turned it into comedy on social media for people to laugh.
Yep.
And if you had to tell the audience something inspiring, what would you say to them?
You know, I would say if you have a passion to do something on social media, do it. You know, don't give up. You're eventually going to break through the algorithm. It took me 5 years to find the algorithm, but I finally found it, you know. And it's funny, there's a reason why you went through gaming, food videos, and all these different kinds of videos. It's because you were in the process learning how to edit, learning how to use CapCut, learning how to do all these different things to make your videos better and better. And then finally, when you were ready enough to, I guess, when the world came crashing down, is when I started to rise on social media. Basically, my life came crashing down and I started to rise on social media. So it's, I would say, don't give up. And just, you know, you got to believe in what you're doing, though. You have to really believe that you're going to break through. And that's, you know that, like, I know this is going to work.
Well, I can't see what you have coming for us in the future, but tell us, where could they find you? And, you know, if you want to give a little bit of a tease of what may be coming soon, let us know.
So this week I got some fun stuff coming with a Calabrese guy on Staten Island. He's got a restaurant. We're going to do some videos together. I have I have something planned for Gina. I got a nice video. I got a good video coming out. And then I got some Sicilian stuff I want to work on. I actually I got a new Sicilian character coming out, but
Chicho, is his name Chicho?
no, I used to work demolition also. when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a Sicilian demo guy coming out
So
soon.
you ain't lying. Everything you're telling us is just based on experience.
Yep.
Beautiful.
I got.
What's your social media? What's your
So you can find me on Instagram, Domenico Leo TV. You can find me on TikTok and Facebook, but mainly on Instagram. I haven't uploaded recently. I've been really focusing on Instagram. So there's a lot of videos on TikTok that are not that are on. There's a lot of videos on my Instagram that are not on my TikTok. So I will be
merging?
putting it, putting it out there. I just, like I said, I haven't been focused on TikTok because they don't have my attention right now.
Well,
Yeah.
again, thank you for coming.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
It was nice
It's
getting
fun.
to know you more.
Definitely.
It was a lot of fun. I really appreciate having the opportunity to do my first podcast. I'm glad it was you guys. I think Sicilians and Calabrese people share of really a lot in common.
Yeah, a hard head.
And I love the Sicilian culture. I love the food.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait to go to Palermo and just eat like an animal.
Guys, there you have it. Give him a follow. Check him out. Hopefully, we get more of my favorite character, the Siciliano cook. But he's enjoyable.
Italians, Sicilians, Calabrese together do it better.
There you go.
That's it. I think last week it was Napolitans do it better.
Do it best. Do it best.
All right,
Have a good
level
night,
up,
everybody. Take care.